You can argue forever who the greatest of all time is. In every sport, there are a few that stand above the rest and have a special aura about them. If we look at the NBA, the mystique Michael Jordan has and his impeccable record vaults him to the #1 spot for many fans. He has the individual accolades and a perfect 6-0 record in the NBA Finals. There is one player in our competition who best relates to Jordan. You might not think he's the best footballer of all time or even the best player of his generation, but his career, big-time plays and off-field best relates him to the Bulls megastar. He is still playing today, but besides his own fan base, it seems the general AFL population still doesn't fully appreciate his record achievements, with some of them being greater than MJ's. 3 grand final wins from 3 appearances, 3 best on grounds in those games, the only perfect season in AFL history. It's an MJ type of record, and it's what Dustin Martin has. His finals achievements are so absurd it beats all his contemporaries, and if we take the other all-time greats who have played in the same era, Martin is #1. Let's start at the top with his grand final numbers. 29 disposals, 2 goals and 6 clearances in 2017, 22 disposals, 4 goals and 3 clearances in 2019, and in 2020, 21 disposals, 4 goals and 4 clearances. It averages out to 24 touches, 3.3 goals and 4.3 clearances over his 3 games. His average player rating is a monster 26.5, and in every one of the games he was by far the highest rated player. For context, since 2012, the best rated overall season was Gary Ablett Jr.'s 2014, in which he posted a 22.21 rating. In the single biggest game there is, he's been the overwhelming force in it every time. Those 3 Norm Smith medals put him above Hodge, McLeod and Ayres, who won the award twice. Jordan's 6 finals MVPs also has him atop of NBA history. It's not just the stats, but it's seizing the moment and delivering. He has done it the most. How about his 2019 prelim final? Down by 21 points at the half, the Tigers marched back. Martin kicked a huge goal in the third to bring the margin to 8 points before a game-changing play on the wing where he created a goal from a seemingly dead play.
With a couple of goals important. Mungo kick but a good one. Martin heaving and trying to get rid of Henry, and then Dusty trying to get it back out. Ball still in dispute. Couple of balls. Oh, how did he do that, Dusty? That's almost a play of the night. Goes to Castagna. Castagna on the burst. They've got the numbers. Leach has got it. Running Real.
He single-handedly destroyed Brisbane in the same year's qualifying final, kicking 6 goals at the Gabba. They had no answers for his brute strength and finesse, but his ultimate performance was in the 2020 Grand Final. Once again, the Tigers were down 21 points just before the half. Martin was extremely quiet and Richmond was flat, but he provided a monumental spark, kicking a one-handed crumbing goal from nothing.
The footy a little. Look at them gang up on Lynch there. If there weren't 4, left Martin around the body, high ball, he's got it. What a man.
20 seconds later, he caught Blitzavs holding the ball, and although he completely shanked the kick, he injected himself into the contest. Richmond fixed up some things tactically, and Martin took over the second half.
Send the ball to half forward, high ball, Bolter there, Rewald tries to knock it forward, Rioli out of corner as well, spills to Martin, little right foot slider, and on the ground, he's got another one! Martin's clipped another one! High footy to centre half, Kolodjasny the swatting ball, Lambert found Martin, broke the tackle, got a skidder, Martin, could it be 3? It is! Dusty's kicked 3! Couldn't quite stick it, Martin to put pressure, still with Martin, can he kick a 4th?
To quickly go through contemporaries' grand final records, let's start with Ablett, who played in 4 grand finals, winning 2 and posting solid numbers in 22.5 disposals and a goal per game. Player ratings for his early grand finals aren't available to compare with Martin. Patrick Dangerfield has played in 2, again with a split record. He was banged up in the first one, in which he faced Martin, but was on the field, so his averages equal 19.5 disposals, half a goal and 6 clearances, with a player rating of 16.35. His 2022 Grand Final was superb and made up for the disappointment in 2020. Lance Franklin did appear in 6 grand finals, but did only win 2. He had solid stats of 15 disposals and 1.8 goals per game. The comparison isn't to downgrade these players' performances, but to show how hard it is to play well on grand final day and how unbelievable Martin's record is. He's by far the greatest finals player in history, and it's hard to see anyone coming close to surpassing or even equaling him. He's still 3 championships short of Jordan, but his 3 Norm Smiths might be more impressive than Jordan's 6 finals MVPs. Basketball is 5-on-5 at one time, where football is 18-on-18, with another 4 contributors for each side on the bench. In a numbers standpoint, winning a best on ground is so much harder in the AFL, and to do it 3 times is near impossible. Although finals and grand finals are the biggest matches, there still is the home and away season. Jordan clearly eclipses Martin here, with 5 league MVPs. Martin does only have 1 Brownlow, but is equal all-time for most votes in a season at 36. Jordan had 10 All-NBA first teams, while Martin has a solid 4 All-Australian appearances and another 4 appearances in the 40-man squad. It's clear from the outside Martin's role after the first flag changed, and he became more of a forward-half player than an on-baller, which did affect his stats to help get in these type of squads. Dangerfield, Fife, Franklin and others will total better home and away season records, but again, none are yet to eclipse Martin for a single year. Jordan's 1995 to 1996 is considered his best year and one of the greatest ever. The Bulls went 72-10, while Jordan played every game, was scoring leader, All-NBA first team, All-Defensive first team, All-Star MVP, League MVP and Finals MVP. He won everything except winning Defensive Player of the Year. It's a 95% perfect season, and again, Martin is the best parallel to this in our sport. We go back to 2017, which was the Tigers' breakout year in their dynasty. In a pure award focus, Martin did a near full sweep and filled a cabinet in just a year. He averaged nearly 30 disposals in 25 games and kicked a huge 37 goals. Starting off in the home and away season, Martin won each of the big 3 awards in the Brownlow, AFL Players MVP and the Coaches Association Award. These were joined by an All-Australian appearance and a Best and Fairest victory. His season gave him the chance to be the first player to win the Brownlow and Norm Smith in the same year. He did exactly that, and to top it off, won the match to get the Premiership medal. Throughout the finals, he was also judged the best player, winning the newly implemented Gary Ayres medal, which he would win again in 2019 and 2020. The only major award he didn't win was the Coleman medal. It's an absurd season and led to Lee Matthews calling it the best individual season he had ever witnessed, and that was before the grand final in 2017. Dangerfield, Fife, Bontempelli and Ablett have all come close but fallen short at 1 or 2 of the awards. Again, his 2017 was one of a kind, just like Jordan and the Bulls' 95-96 season. The last comparison to Jordan is beyond the field. You can't measure it or equate it to medals or stats. It's their demeanour and aura that is more similar than you think. Obviously Jordan's shoe brand is impossible to compare with anything, but Martin is one of the most followed AFL players and has been a brand ambassador for a number of big companies. But with this, both have stayed as quiet as they can in their personal lives. Focusing on Martin, not many people know a whole lot about him. Despite his following and the acknowledgement of his great performances, there is still a clear distance between himself and the public. It's intentional and always has left some mystery around who he really is. Off-field trouble has been a part of their careers too. Jordan was a big-time gambler, was seen as a bully to his teammates, and there are many stories of his personality not being the nicest. Martin himself has gotten into trouble, specifically with a drunken chopstick incident early in 2015, but has stayed out of trouble since the event. It's been the tragedy in their lives that both of them have rebounded from that is most admirable. While they were playing, both of their fathers passed. Jordan's was murdered in July 1993, being a significant reason he went to baseball before returning a year and a half later to the NBA. His resilience was strong, and he ended up dedicating the '96 championship to the late James Jordan. Martin's father's sudden death was a huge shock. He was the biggest figure in Martin's life and his ultimate dream was to win a grand final with him in the stand.
Going to say that must be a pretty big motivation for you to be able.
Yeah, well, that's my dream, to be able to have the old man up there with the rest of my family and watch the Tigers win another flag.
It's hard to imagine how much it shook him, and his football was obviously affected. It was good to see Martin fit and firing again in 2023. He was named in the All-Australian squad and once again looked sharp on the field. The toughness he had displayed in all those 3 grand finals would have been nothing compared to getting back on the track after his father's passing. Dusty will be 33 next year and back with the Tigers. There's rumours every day of an interstate move, but the yellow and black will be happy to have him back. At 33, Jordan had just won his 4th ring and the first in his soon-to-be 2nd three-peat. Whether it's at Richmond or somewhere else, Martin might have just enough juice to get himself a 4th, 5th and maybe 6th premiership.